Knee howdy.
Me howdy, y'all.
Welcome back to another episode of Permanent Underclass. My man Clyde is back with us again from the Eastern Hemisphere. We just met up in the Western Hemisphere, and people want us to get right down to the dirty notes on what's going on behind the scenes with AI. Are they going to lose their job tomorrow? How can we save them? But I got to mention real quick, Clyde, you and I played a game of trivia in New York last week at a bar.
We did.
We did. It was LARPing as a Midwestern shithole, which is funny because the neighborhood that I grew up in has nothing but these kind of bars, genuinely.
Right.
And then we went to one because it was like a cool, like that was the scene. We were in first place in trivia from topics 1 through 9. And then we got to topic 10, which was Miley Cyrus. And I think we went from first and teleported immediately into last place because we know nothing about Miley Cyrus.
And this is how I know Netanyahu's still alive, because we were about to win this whole trivia game, right? And then, what do you know? Last second, we got, okay, maybe that's...
Rug pulled. That was the exact connection I was going for there. I'm so glad you went in that direction for today's show. Anyway, the other thing I want to talk about is, and this is a hot topic, I'm thinking about getting on peptides. Should I get on peptides, Clyde, yes or no?
That's the big question. Peptides are all the rage. Peptides are everywhere here in China. A lot of the peptides are manufactured here. In my view, peptides are a one-way ticket to severing your divine light. In my view, I think peptides are not good for the spiritual connection one might have with God. But Evan, what's your argument for peptides? Why do you want to get on peptides?
Yeah, I just need to get in better shape, man. Just not not doing great in the in shape department, as is probably apparent on the video that you can watch. Feel like I could take peptides. A buddy of mine who is like he's in super crazy good shape. He's on like these crazy Chinese imported peptides, and I was kind of sitting around waiting. I was like, I want someone else to try it first. You know how like sometimes when you're younger, listen, I'm an old man now. I'm unk. I have kids. But when I was young, I always knew the rule was when you get a bag, you let someone else try it first, right? That's always like the little game you play in life. Haven't done that in a while, but just went back to my street knowledge there. But it's funny that you say that because I want to share this tweet from a friend of mine. This is from Asparagoid. Are you familiar with this Twitter user?
I don't know Asparagoid. No, yeah.
Okay, so Asparagoid is a mutual of mine. I've never met him in person. He is not really Dr. Xin Jianyang, PhD, but he likes to every 6 to 12 months reinvent himself as an expert in various fields online. He said, we initially thought GLPs like Ozempic, tirzepatide, and retatrutide just reduced food cravings. Now we know they work for alcohol, cocaine, gambling, and other addictions too. And this is, I think what you're talking about is a little bit of that, like you take it and it kind of like removes your soul in a sense. And he said, but do you know what runs on exactly the same circuit? Falling in love. And then he goes into this. Now he's posing as this Dr. Xin Jianyang, which is hilarious.
I love it.
I'm pretty sure he's just like he's just like a British white guy. And this dude is just known for bangers online. So this is another little tidbit for you. If you're online getting rage baited by someone on X, like just make sure that this, like most of the time it's just someone that's just total, like they're just rage baiting to just piss you off. But he actually got community noted on this with public or PubMed journals. And is this no helpful? No, of course not.
That is such an accolade to get community noted on X. That's what an achievement, actually. I would love to be that good.
I mean, he's done it again. Yeah. He's done it again. He got 7.6 million views. Another one that he did was that got like basically the same amount of views as this and the same amount of like pushback from like the people in the mainstream. Was he talked about how people who listen to music are just NPCs, and actually you should be able to just sit with your own thoughts. So, if you're someone who has to have music playing and you're really into music, you're an idiot, and you should be able to just sit with your own thoughts, and you should be able to basically enjoy the symphony of silence. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson was commenting on his thing, and like he's just shitposting. He's not serious at all. He's just trying to get a rise out of people.
I love it.
So, yeah, hilarious. So I mean, in a way, I kind of see what he's saying about the peptides.
I mean, I think it is this whole like peptides, Ozempic, like it's like let's cut off your humanly cravings. In a way, I think it's meant to people are denying their own will to power. It's like let me deny my own vitality in the name of health. Let me try and suppress these like human animal desires I have to be some healthier version of me, which I think is very not based to deny these aspects of your biological being, of your vitality, of yourself. It's very anti-Nietzschean. I say fuck all that. You should just fully eat like what you want, and if you wanna lose weight, then go work out more. Then go fucking to the gym. Like I don't believe in this whole like taking drugs to reduce your appetite. It is so incredibly cucked in my view. I would never do that.
All right, well, I'm gonna experiment with it and let you know how the cuck mask how it fits. Anyway, what a wild start to our show. We are totally off the
Yeah.
rails here.
I have I have one image that like really encapsulates my feeling around peptides. I just DM'd it to you. It's kind of a reaction image.
Yes, let me bring this
Okay,
up without
here's a
doxing
clip.
my entire Telegram.
I'm gonna do a clip right now. It's
Go ahead.
Okay, peptides. This is what happens to you when you take peptides. You're going to have your divine light severed. You're going to be a flesh automaton. Peptides are built around getting you to just suppress your earthly desires, suppress your carnal desires. It is a rejection of vitality. You need to embrace the fact that you have these impulses to eat, to have sex, to live life. Peptides are meant to subdue you, and they sever your divine light. Do not take Chinese manufactured peptides. Be a Western-based person. It doesn't have to be Western, but just embrace and accept your full humanity. Like, there's no need to take drugs to suppress yourself, in my view.
Yeah, and you know what? If you have a self-control problem, figure it out on your own.
I get it. And maybe we're not offering enough compassion to like, people whose brain chemistry is just not built for this cornucopia of temptations and pleasures that we have on Earth.
Clyde, you don't need to hedge on the show. We're trying to get clips where people enjoy our takes or get pissed off at us. I want people to love us or hate us. I don't want them to be lukewarm on us, okay? So stop hedging.
Okay, fair. Well, yeah, stop. The ADHD isn't real. Being fat isn't real. Get a hold of yourself. Yeah.
All right, listen, we have diverged pretty far off the plot here of what this show is usually about. So maybe we can reel it in and talk about something. I know a couple weeks ago we talked about Carpathy came out with this thing that was like the job displacement thing. Which industries are most at risk for being replaced by automation and AI. And somebody did a different spin on it that I thought was interesting. It is well, let's just take a look. It is a map that's showing the AI displacement risk index. Now, this is relevant only to those in the U.S., which is most of our audience. But I thought it was interesting that you can click on some of these counties, and it's like San Mateo County, California, the risk index is 80.7. Vulnerable counties, it's got them listed here. Middlesex County, Massachusetts, Santa Clara County, California, Montgomery County, what is that, Maryland?
Yeah, it is. So wow, so California is just cooked almost completely.
California is cooked, buddy.
Who's doing okay if we zoom out a little bit? How's Minnesota doing? What do we got? Oh, Minnesota's pretty cooked. Why is Minnesota so cooked?
Minnesota's cooked, man.
That's Minnesota. Why is Minnesota that cooked? Everyone else around us isn't. Wow, that's how you know Minnesota's different, dude. It's its own little thing. Look at that. The border's so distinct. Wow.
Yeah, that's weird, though. I wonder if the data maybe, like, how did they actually come up with this would be interesting, because maybe they're just taking, like, okay, like North Dakota, what is the top industry in North Dakota? And then what is the top industry in Minnesota? Because I would assume there's probably, higher population in Minnesota, probably more technology companies in Minnesota, probably, I don't know, just more people that are using computers in Minnesota compared to the industry that's driven in North Dakota, which is like agriculture, maybe. I feel like I'm just such an ignorant American talking about these states. You guys might as well be Canada.
All right, that's enough. Look at the Deep South. The South will rise again, it seems. Look at them. Yeah, they're in good shape. Not too much displacement.
If you live in the South, do not worry about AI. It is not coming for your job. If you live, however, in Atlanta, you do need to disperse a little bit. East Coast, totally cooked. Washington, D.C., New York, Boston, this whole 5 Northern Channel is just totally cooked. This is underclass.io, which Underclass, I feel like we've set the trend. I know we didn't make that up. We didn't coin that term, but it's starting to catch on more and more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you check this out, you'll be able to see the map of all the people and what's going on in your county. Most exposed occupation per county: Greene County, PA, office clerks in general and operation managers. I mean, I think this is interesting data.
It is interesting. Yeah, no, I wonder if it's gonna, my question is, will it actually cause real geographic displacement? Like they're saying AI displacement. Do you think people will actually move out of the cities because they're getting automated? That's the real question. Are we gonna have to return to tradition and farm and work the land? Really?
Yeah, people are just do not take peptides. Whatever you do, make sure that you lay off the peptides and return to tradition, and then you'll lose weight because you'll be tilling the fields instead of sitting on your ass on a computer all day.
Exactly.
Right?
We've gone too far.
Walk and farm, people. Walk and farm.
Walk and farm. Get your steps in.
The other thing that I saw was, this is jobanxiety.com. If people are getting laid off from jobs in Silicon Valley, your job could be next, whether you're in Silicon Valley or on the coast or in the middle of the heart of America. And this person, Howdy Mary, on Twitter, she said she had 2 friends of mine were laid off from Meta in the latest restructuring. One had been there 3 years, the other for 7. Job anxiety is ripping through the nation, and policymakers are completely unprepared for the next few years. She's really good at writing headlines that are making people look into this, right? So she built at Job Anxiety, a site tracking 800 plus jobs created by AI with research on upskilling and labor market trends in on-demand jobs in the AI era. So if you go to jobanxiety.ai/newsletter, you can get a weekly update on the latest on layoffs and hiring trends to escape, what does she call it here?
Is that the permanent underclass I see when they say the name of the movie in the movie? When they say the name of the podcast in the podcast? Escape the permanent underclass.
We've just broken the fourth wall, the permanent underclass. Listen, folks, if you are listening to us, and you don't have to watch us on YouTube, by the way, you can always go on over to Apple or to Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts and just listen to the smooth sounds of our voices. We're here. We are part of the permanent underclass as well. We're with you. We are the Everyman's podcast for part of the permanent underclass. And, we're not strivers. I don't say this particularly because we're looking at Mary's Twitter and, I met her in person and she was cordial and I follow her and she doesn't follow me back. I'm not saying anything particular about her, but there is a lot of Asian striverism going on in the AI world. Some of these people, like, every time they post, it's like they're writing a fucking memoir to their parents, their overbearing tiger mom, to try to impress them. You can be earnest when you post things on Twitter. It's okay. You can admit that you like to get drunk or you need to take peptides because you're out of shape or whatever it is. That's the vibe that we give on this show because we are part of the permanent underclass just like you are. Anyway, I don't know why I went on that rant, but
I love it. No, I saw this tweet. It was like, if I'm not drunk or high, I start acting like AJ from The Sopranos. I start just that's so good, dude. That
is hilarious.
But on this topic of strivers, especially Asian strivers, look, I'm Wasian, believe it or not. I'm like a quarter Wasian. Check out this last tweet that I just sent you.
And listen, I'm a Wasian supremacist. This is coming from a place of love. You're allowed to be yourself in this country, in America. You don't have to. Is this David on?
No, the last one that when I said this, a bow tied Craig.
Oh yes. Oh my God, this went viral. I saw this.
Yeah. This was so good, so good. So Striverism has been all over Twitter, especially Asian Striverism. I was raised by an Asian tiger mom myself, believe it or not. I really was. And I love this guy's text. So you see this quoted tweet below, these guys, it's like 6 of them, all Forbes 30 under 30 of Informatics Olympiad. They all built $1 million apps already.
I'm sorry, but hold on. I have to interrupt you. Informatics Olympiad perfect scorer. No one knows what that means. No one. I promise you. No one outside of like the private school, like higher tier, or maybe like the people in. I couldn't even tell you what that means. I have no idea what that means. No one I've ever met knows what that means.
I was a mathlete in high school. I did do fucking math league, and this is like the top tier of mathematics competitions one can do. The like math Olympiad, informatics Olympiad.
Informatics Olympiad?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this is what you
Okay,
do.
but why
It's
don't you just
crazy.
call it like math Olympics or whatever the hell it is?
I
Why
think
why
it
do you
is. I
have to
think it is
use?
Math Olympiad, but informatics is like specific to computer sciences, right? So like they're doing
I
like coding
see. I see. So
competitions.
okay, hey, listen, they're hitting us with the big words. They're impressed. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
They're coming near with the damn college words. So these guys come out, these strivers. Now they come out with like, we're going to build anything for you in the next 36 hours. Highest bid wins, and I love this. Look at this crew. These guys can build anything. Obviously, they've already built $6 million vibe coded apps. These guys probably don't even vibe code. They're probably writing everything with like writing their code in pen and pencil, like their parents made them. And look, I had an Asian tiger mom. I got whipped in terms of, okay, I didn't literally get whipped, but still, I got pushed pretty hard. And I love this take. This guy's saying, I'm gonna raise my Asian kids with a lot of love and warmth and tell them I'm proud of them every day because I don't want them to be cringe striver slop when they grow up. And that's the first time I saw striver slop. And it's like, I'm really happy over the last few years that trying became cool again. Like that's good that we got over like this whole disaffected nonchalance wave that was dominating the mainstream. But now we've swung too far where it's just like people want to dedicate every waking hour to getting more subscriptions to their, not even their SaaS anymore, to their whatever, their next GPT wrapper, and that's what they want to live and die for, to just
Hmm.
to just print another million. Like, okay, great job. But the striverism, I think, has gone too far. Everybody knows it. It's
And
still
it's so
cringe to
apparent
not
too.
try.
It's become apparent. Like it's I agree with you 100%. Like I also hate the like don't try and like you're too cool
Yeah,
for school type shit. Like you're never going to get
yeah,
anything done and accomplished that way. But the striverism is so apparent now. Like when you post some like how many posts do you see on Twitter now that it's like it's the first time you've ever seen this like Asian chick, and she's like, "Hi, my name's Cindy. I just want to introduce myself. I was investing in startups as an
yeah.
undergrad at like at Cornell." And I'm like, "What? Like what? And as an undergrad, you were investing in startups at Cornell? Like what the? I was like going to dollar beer night on Thursdays in undergrad. What
Right.
are you talking about? Like nobody can relate to this. Nobody gives
And
a
this
shit
is
about this.
and this is the whole thing. Like they're not drinking, they're not having sex. Like they're just like locking in on mastering Go and
They're
like learning
they're
the
on
next.
peptides. Oh my
They're
god,
on
they're on
peptides, dude.
peptides."
They literally are. It's so life denying. It is. And this is like what's like supposed to be optimal, right? Is this whole optimization thing that's actually a complete denial of life. Like it's so sad to see. Yeah, I just want to
Yeah.
feed them like I just want to feed them like a handful of I don't know. That being said, some of these San Francisco strivers do live a pretty based and balanced life. Like I do think some of them are just impressive, excellent people that still party hard and do all that cool stuff. So they're not all like this, but a lot of them are.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people that like whenever they post tweet, like before they hit the tweet button, they're really primming and like pruning the message and like, oh, let me take the picture of like this other trend I'm seeing now is like taking pictures of like the investor dinner to like
Hmm.
like, hey, I was in a really small room, but small rooms are where great things happen in technology, and we didn't
Dude,
even talk about technology most of the time. We were talking about longevity, and it's like, and then there's a picture of like the menu, and then like the people, and like it's like okay, like it's like people that go to a concert and film the concert the whole time. And it's like, oh, you
right.
just went to the concert just to show people you went to a concert. You didn't go to the concert to enjoy the concert. Like,
Well,
I can't stand it.
that's the age we're in, right? This is the whole like this is the Instagram era of like nobody's doing anything earnestly. They're doing it to share that they're doing it in abstract, right? This has been well documented. But good thing we're doing this just to have this conversation, not to record it and spread it and put it into content, right? The good thing we're
Right, right. We would never do that.
we would never clip farm and like talk about things not in earnest. This
Right, exactly.
I love these Elon versus Sam Altman comparisons that I've been seeing through this tweet. Dude, this tweet killed me. I love these Silicon Valley CEO takedowns. Look at Elon and Sam Altman. This guy says they look like two different species of toads with a distant common ancestor, and they do. They look like they're about to extract their tongue. They look like they're about to like eat a fly flying around. Both of them do. Like these guys look like they got 4 foot long tongues. I genuinely I trust Elon a little bit more intuitively, but Sam Altman, he's not a lizard, but he's not human, dude. He's got something going on.
How about The other thing that's interesting, this is kind of in the same vein of like Sam Altman and like Striverism and all this fun stuff. So like, did you see that TBPN, like OpenAI invested in TBPN?
No, I didn't see that. Was that?
Have you seen that? Have you seen this? Like these guys started this show. It's these guys. They're like the tech
Oh,
bros
wow.
behind the. Have you seen this?
No, what the heck? Should we be doing this? Damn.
So these two guys did this thing. They're like exited entrepreneurs, right? They're like successful guys.
Sure.
They. I just hold on one second. It's interesting because TBPN, okay, these two guys, they're like exited entrepreneurs. They go on and they do something that I thought was interesting is like they start a daily podcast and they're clipping and they're doing everything right. But it was like kind of like, why is this being it feels like astroturfed into the X timeline. Like all of a sudden I'm like seeing TBPN everywhere and they're sponsored by every single tech company
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
But it is funny because they tried to do like the ESPN model of like it's 24/7 tech news. It's got like whenever somebody switches companies, it says like, you know, traded or like drafted or whatever, you know, like it would literally have
Yeah.
like a kid from their Ivy League school like drafted to go work at Meta or whatever. The one guy, they just got acquired by OpenAI after being in business 18 months. And where is
Mhm.
the fucking oh, here we go. John Coogan. So this is the guy that runs the show. TBPN has been acquired by OpenAI. The show is staying the same and will continue to go live at 11 a.m. Pacific, blah, 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 blah. But then I started reading it more and it was like, is nothing really organic anymore? Because he said there's a full circle moment for me as I've worked with Sam Altman for well over a decade. He funded my first company in 2013. Then he helped us fix a serious logjam during a critical funding round. When I took my second company through YC, he was president at the time. And when I joined Founders Fund, the first deal I saw in motion was the post-ChatGPT round in late 2022. So as we started to grow TVPN last year, he was the very first lab lead to join the show. So it's like, this was always OpenAI pretty much. Like, I mean, these guys are like, they're buddies, you know what I mean? It's not like it's not like they started in a garage and then all of a sudden one day it's like, whoa, we made it to the
Yeah.
top, OpenAI, Sam Altman. Like, no, 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 no. Like, I'm sure everybody was successful at some point, but it's just astroturfed. And this is the way that X, I feel like, has gone is it's just, you're just seeing the feed of things that everything's bought and paid for. I don't know. I don't mean to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but like all media now, whether it's independent or whatever it is, it's always funded by somebody to put even just the faintest spin in one direction or another on it. And there's a reason why billionaires buy platforms like Elon Musk buying X is going to be directly at odds now with this TBPN, who has crazy distribution on X, which is now owned by Sam Altman. So that'll be an interesting sort of like clash of billionaires, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, knowing Elon, he'll just like he'll just do something illegal, like ban him for no reason, and get taken to court and probably shell out millions for it, but that won't matter for him. It's crazy.
Yeah.
As if I know Elon, yeah. Knowing Elon, man. Knowing this guy.
No, and
He'll
Elon, I
fucking-
mean,
he'll-
how you know how he usually operates and
You know
the
how
way
he
that I've
gets
seen
down.
his standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
What else? What else you want to talk about?
I really want to talk about this one from David on Chain real quick. I want to hook this one.
David on chain.
I have a really good hook for this.
If I could fucking
So if you know what Claude Code is, what OpenClaw is, what Cursor is, what Hermes Agent is, you probably also know what it's like to talk to people that don't know what these things are. And it's kind of stressing me out because I'll talk to some of my closest friends and I'll be trying to tell them like, dude, I just built this app in 20 minutes, and they turn around and they tell me, well, what's Claude, man? What is Claude Code? And it's so hard to know and understand that my friends are so cooked. Like the people in your life that haven't heard of Claude Code yet or Open Claude, they're so cooked. Like, and I love this Walking Dead reference. The Carl. It's so accurate. A part of me genuinely feels like people are kind of screwed.
it's funny because I know I have two instances of people I know in my life that are like on a work break, we'll call it, for various reasons. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm like, you know, they're either returning to work or they're like finding a new job or whatever, and they're like, yeah, it's weird because the one guy is literally a like a mid-level manager for developers, And he's
Hmm.
like, yeah, he's like, I have no idea like what, in the next 12 months, like what if I'm going to have a job, because there's just nobody's even touching code anymore. Like from when he stopped working there, like in that profession, to 12 months
Yeah.
later. And so for people to not even know what's going on with this stuff, but you know what? Maybe those people they're living their best lives. They're not sitting there like putting themselves through psychosis like we are.
The middle managers are so cooked. That's the one. There's gonna be people responsible for business outcomes still, and there's still gonna be operators, people that are leveraging code, owning processes. But there's just no need for middle management in the age of AI in organizational hierarchy. Like we don't need these like pseudo people managers because we can have people managing agents and then execs owning outcomes, and that's pretty much it. I think this middle management class, like that's they're gonna have to reinvent themselves. These are useless skills now.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it used to be like not that long ago, it was kind of an interesting revolution of business to be like, oh, I'm going to write SOP documents for everything I do, like the standard operating procedure. And then I could plug anyone in and they just need to read the SOP, and like any monkey can dance and do the job. And now it's like
Right.
you don't even need that much anymore. You can just kind of like context dump everything into an agent. And then if the agent is good enough at referencing that information, then whoever can come along and ask whatever question. And like there's ways in which I've already kind of done that. Like I tell people that are, like working on projects with me or that are working under me for certain things, I'm like, if you have a question, ask my OpenClaw instance before you ask me. If it's a process thing or what, like you need a link to something, like do not ask me first. Unless the OpenClaw agent can't figure it out or is hallucinating or sending you on a wild goose chase, like don't bother me with the shit. And it actually
Right.
does like save a lot of time, right?
Right. No, it does. And at that, I mean, I'm kind of automating myself at this point completely as DevRel at Limitless Exchange. Like I'm fully automating my own function and role, which like I've had to kind of level with the C-suite. I'm like, guys, like I'm turning my job into an entirely AI powered function. What's next? And they're kind of assuring me like, oh, great, Clyde, that's exactly what we want you to do. But and then you'll be able to do leadership stuff and like make strategic decisions. And like, I hope, yeah, I hope so. Otherwise, like I am a part of this. I don't know. I'm trying to be careful to not automate myself out of like stability because I think this is what's common to all of us.
Yeah, yeah. That's an interesting thing. It's like this uh it's this death loop of AI. Is like you want to be able to automate as much as you can, and you feel the pressure of like everyone else is succeeding at doing that, especially when you scroll through your X timeline. But then at the same
Hmm.
time, it's like, well, I'm just like fucking replacing my own job. Like in some ways, it's a win because it's like, oh, I don't have to do that task anymore. And then it's like, oh, I don't have to do that task anymore. Oh, I don't have to. And then eventually it's like, wait a minute, like, what am I actually doing here? Because at this point, I could just hand off everything to like
Right.
a couple cron jobs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Over the pants cron job, man. That's what I want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Over the pants. Yeah, it's an over the pants
Intrusive
cron
thought.
job, man. Yeah. Takes me back to my days. Always have your buddy test the bag first
Yeah.
and start with an over the pants cron job.
Yep.
All right. What else do we want to talk about? That's 30 minutes.
Nice. We got a few clips in there. Do you want to talk about Jesus being an Indian man from Kerala?
We could talk about that.
This is the first tweet I sent. Dude, it might be too racy for YouTube. Just kind of need you to see this tweet. I don't know if you saw, but they found DNA on the Shroud of Turin. Like 60% of it was like 60% of a human genome, and it was all traceable back to South India. So basically, it's confirmed Jesus was an Indian man from Kerala, which is the southern tip of India. Which actually, it makes sense. Like a lot of he's basically was just bringing Buddhist ideas into Western civilization. But the reactions on Twitter is so funny, man. Just people having crises over the idea of Jesus being Indian, which honestly tracks. I just love this reaction video.
This clip is I've seen this a million times now. This is what is this from? Is this from Spider-Man?
This is Spider-Man 2, I think. Yeah, when he was gonna try and kill Peter Parker, but he was possessed by the mask and like woke up, I think, in the last second. But yeah.
I just think it's funny to apply it to this scenario where it's like who am I about to stab when they hit me with the Jesus was an Indian man from Kerala? And I'm like, no, like stumble back and drop the knife. And I'm like, he what?
Well, I think the implication being that they were gonna stab an Indian guy, right? Like, because X hates Indians, like,
Right.
like that's the funny thing. Like, it's is this insane. Frankly, the way I do not support the amount of Indian hate that is on X. To be honest, it's way too much. But it is. I like when it's turned into a joke. But even then, yeah. Bye. I'm from India myself.
Recent DNA suggests the shroud is Turin, a cloth made linked to Jesus Christ, may have ties to India. Researchers discovered 40% of the human DNA on the shroud is of Indian lineage, hinting the yarn or linen originated from the Indus Valley region. So it could just be the yarn on the shroud itself, though.
Right. That's possible. Yeah.
This is funny though. This is the kind of stuff that I just think is like. This is like why I go on X is for this kind of like the reaction to this news.
So funny, dude.
It's
It's
what I
so
live for.
funny.
It's everything I
Yeah.
want in entertainment is like historical, religious, racist, in tribal warfare on X. That's
the
what I
best.
want.
You
That's
can't
what I
beat
need to
it.
consume when I wake up in the morning. You know,
Yeah. It's too good. It's just too
it's
good.
too good. All right, what's next?
What do we got next? Yeah, this is like the stuff I wanted to talk about. Oh, I mean, I have a funny one about NDAs, but it's just retelling another joke. But we
It's
can
fine,
we can
hit-
talk about NDAs for
we
a
can hit a
second.
Claude
It's the
joke.
last one I sent.
Is there a link? Benny Feldman?
I just too.
Oh, this is so funny.
It's too good. NDAs are not real, dude. An NDA is a lock in 3 beers is a key. Because like 1 or 2 beers works. Like I'm not gonna break my NDA, but 3 beers in this, all bets are off, man. The NDAs are just these are constructs that in 3 beers are bulldozers. Let's be honest. These are not real things. What do you think, Evan? Are you upholding your NDAs after 3 beers?
I'm sorry, that's just so good. Yeah, I mean, listen, now that I'm on peptides, I'm never gonna have 3 beers again. I'll always stop at like
That's right.
at half a pint, you know. Listen, you can give me whatever NDA you want. I'm never gonna break that. But
No,
oh my
now that
God.
you're looks maxing and longevity maxing, it's too good, dude.
Yeah, listen,
It's
I'm
too good.
longevity. Listen, Clyde, last night at the investors dinner that I was at, and you know what, Clyde, it was a small crowd, but I feel like the best ideas come from small crowds. And we weren't trying to impress anyone. There were some hors d'oeuvres served, of course,
Mm-hmm.
caviar and artichoke, and there was a little bit of fennel and chives.
All right. Okay.
And you know, it was surprising to me because as I sat amongst the top investors in Silicon Valley and New York, and a friend of mine who's from Singapore, and an alien that we uncovered in Antarctica on an expedition 5 years ago when I was
Of
with
course.
10 beautiful women, of which I speak with. That's my harem. But anyway, listen, don't worry about any of those details, okay? That's all stuff that I would talk about back when I was at Ivy League, okay? This dinner that we had last night, we didn't talk about making money. In fact, we talked about the beauty of handwriting and how that's really going to be the frontier of technology and human provability.
Hard agree. What a story, man. You live such a crazy life. I didn't know you're doing all this stuff all the time. That's wild.
Well, that might be a good time to end the show then.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it.
This was a wild train ride.
We touched a lot of topics for sure. We diddled around for sure.
We diddled. We did diddle.
Diddly do.
All right. Why don't you take us out this time?
All right, guys. Well, today we talked about peptides. We talked about the permanent underclass. We talked about places at risk. We talked about Elon and Sam Altman looking like human toads. And with that, guys,
Striverism.
we talked about striverism. We took down the new age of Asian striverism while still preserving the fact that trying is good, but doing nothing but trying to grow your B2B SaaS is cringe. Have some fun. Go have a drink and have sex, and don't do peptides, in my view. But Evan's going to try it out and get back to us next week on his peptide journey, and that will bring us to close on the permanent underclass. Come back for more to see Evan in his new form in 1 week. I will be unchanged, hopefully. Be well. Signing off, Clyde with my co-host, Evan. Follow us on X at ClydeDev and at Pantera0x, and you can catch these episodes on YouTube. All right.
Cheers.
Boom. Cheers.